Hey guys, super excited. Just got a new project car. Can you guess which one? Welcome back. For those of you who are wishing for a lot of the nicer cars behind me, sorry. If this channel takes off, maybe we'll do some crazier build with one of those. In the meantime, let me introduce you to my new project. This is a 2005 Chrysler 300C, so it's the V8 version, right? And as you can see, it has a little bit of damage on the front fender. So I've had a chance to look over it a little bit, but the first order of business is to go over the car thoroughly and pull off all the damaged parts. I did get this on salvage auction from Copart. I can go over that at some point later if you want, but I'll have to get it repaired enough to go get through a Washington State Patrol inspection before we start doing the other crazy things we're doing. So here we go. All right, so here we are. We have disassembled much of the front end and with the obvious damage. I haven't pulled all of it out yet, but I wanted to kind of show you guys where we were at and what we're seeing so far. So, you saw me struggling a bunch here with the bumper, and you can see the left side is fine, actually. It's showing good. You can even see the lines are all run good for the headlight washers. Those will have to get deleted later. Here's one of our first signs of damage over here. You see the other headlight washer has been broken off. Funny story, if I zoom in up here, that one is sitting right up there on the windowsill for some reason. I don't know why they put it up there, but that's a thing. So you can also see the crack running down the bumper here. This looks like it was pulled away probably by the front fender, which is sitting over here. So we saw the front fender, it got mangled up over here. You can see this part, and it actually pulled up a little bit on the tab on the frame that it mounted to. So I'll show you guys that here in a minute. And this was the piece that got super bent here. It supposedly goes right about here when you're putting on a fender, and it got bent and severed away. So we'll have to go repair where that got damaged. Here's some other parts that are just going to come off and stay off. Some foam, weather sealing, half of a hood strut there. The bottom side of this thing was pretty dirty. Here we come to some of the other most significant damage. So if we come up top here, can see how, if we line this up, ooh, we have a straight line and then this tab just bends left. Well, this is where the fender mounts. And this is why everything, where it bent out in that little loop piece. Let me go grab that here for a second for you. This little loop piece was right here. So we'll have to bend this back over. Everything else looks straight. Nothing seems to have moved up in here. And then, sorry about that rattle, guys. You can see some of the damage here to the front fender well. I don't really care about that so much. And then you can see on the side here, the headlight happens to be broken. The lights actually still work, although you can see in there the mounts are pretty messed up. Well, all the lights work, so we'll harvest the lights. We've got some aftermarket lights we're planning on going in. And then the other thing you guys can probably see that's broken is right here. So this is a mount, and it looks like a combination fender mount, fender and bumper cover mount. And it also looks like it holds in one of the lights bolt here. So it looks like it's just a bracket for holding pieces that are together on front. So we might replace that, we might not. It's not structural, so you can see it just kind of sheared off real easy. But when you can get a closer look at the damage here, this light is just falling apart, but still works lights. And then we come here, see the inside of the fender here. And despite being dirty, and you saw me nearly crush myself getting this taken off, everything looks really good. Everything's straight. There's no damage to the actual frame that I can see. So it looks like we got pretty lucky. If you're wondering why this car got totaled, it's almost certainly because of this headlight. So if we get back in here, we'll get the drill light on here. If we get back in here, you see that? So if this were a regular halogen bulb, you would see the back of the bulb right there. We'll get some different light over here, but you don't. You see a cover. So that means these are HID, factory HID headlights, which means replacing them is super expensive. I took a quick look online when I saw this, and we're looking at, like, if you were to get a stock replacement somewhere and you didn't get lucky and find a wrecked HID equipped 300C, you're looking at $600–700 to replace an HID. If you get lucky on eBay, you might be a couple $100. But you're looking at, for replacing all this and that little bit of frame damage there, they probably quoted to replace the whole frame, which wouldn't be too hard. There's probably a place back up over in this area where you can pop a rivet and or pop some spot welds and get things back together and replace it. But that's pretty expensive to do framework, and these headlights are more expensive than all the rest of the pieces to replace combined. So that's probably why this thing got totaled by the insurance company who totaled it. Let's see, what else do we got here? We got a little bit of missing. You can see right in there. Got a piece there that's not there. Looks like it's just like a spacer to hold the bumper away from the radiator. Worried about that. And my mic's down. Okay, mic's back on. Here we go again. So, and that's pretty much the major damage. So I'll be pulling the headlight here today and seeing if I can't see where this mount comes back in, and if I can see that, I'll show that to you guys before the end. And then as we go, I'm gonna have to go figure out some of the trim here. But as we go right, you guys might have seen on some of the initial B-roll that we've got a broken handle here. I'm not too worried about that. For right now, for getting it through State Patrol, I'll probably just do what I need to make it look good. Maybe I'll shave it or replace it. Uncertain yet. And then the keen-eyed of you would have seen this. This is a flat tire. So I've tried to pump it up with air, and it seems to hold air for a while, but then it slowly deflates and ends up looking like this again. As far as I can tell, the wheel looks fine. I didn't see any cracks. I've had this thing on the lift once before. This rest of this backside actually looks pretty good. One little blemish here that I don't particularly care about, but that would have been a rear fender replacement, also somewhat expensive. So this is where we're at. We've got a little bit more lights to pull and get ready to replace that. The other thing that's broken, which I missed the first time around, is this strut. This strut doesn't want to seem to articulate. You might have seen in the opening credits where this side was up. Well, that's because this strut won't articulate, as far as I can tell. So we'll have to replace this hood strut here. And we also don't happen to have any hydraulic hood struts. This is a hood hinge. We don't have any hydraulic hood struts to go from here to here to hold the hood up anymore. So we'll have to figure out something for that. Right now I have the handy dandy broom holder upper. So we got that going. Anyway, try and reset here and get a little bit, pull this headlight out here and see what we got. Oh, one other interesting thing. I can't really get into the car right now, but down in here, the hood release is broken. That wasn't broken when we received it. I brought it. I broke it right down in here. So I've got something I'm gonna 3D print for it, since I don't really want to go out and try and buy whatever piece fits there. So anyway, we'll check back after we pull the headlight and see what we can see underneath there. And that should be it for this episode. So, as you may have seen during the time lapse, I had to get serious business. Mostly my hat was getting in my way, so I had to switch it around. Anyway, so we got the headlights out. So this one was broken, as you can see. Actually doesn't look too bad inside there. And then this one was not broken, but when we replace the headlights, I'm replacing it with an aftermarket set. And I do not want to have mismatched headlights, so we're just gonna replace both of them at the same time. If you're looking for a comparison of what they're supposed to look like side by side, we've got the left headlight on the left and the right headlight on the right. They both work on the lights just fine. And I pulled, to kind of see what I'm doing right now, I pulled the lights out, although, funnily enough, this light, if you don't know how turn signal lights work, the light plugs into the socket here, and you don't really pull the harness apart. So we're gonna take a quick second here at some point and install the new headlights just loosely, mostly so they can protect the lights and harnesses when this thing moves around, because this thing will not stay near the lift. I work at a community shop essentially, so It won't stay on the lift until the next time I get around to it. So we're going to install the headlights loosely. We won't final install them, mostly because I need to do a little bit of soldering, because every aftermarket headlight for this car is not compatible with the HID power. So I'll need to pull the wires and resolder some. And there's a couple extra LEDs on these headlights as well. So here's that bracket that we were talking about earlier. You can see where it's broken. And maybe you can just see on the inside here. Stop all this crap from getting in the way. Learn how to properly shoot stuff. But you can see kind of sheared off here. You can almost see it perfectly matches back up. So looking at it, if we look at it from here, try not to kill myself stepping over all the parts I just leave around. So we're looking at it from here, and you can see it bolts into the fender and the front frame up here, runs down over here. Looks like it's maybe screwed in place over there, maybe. One bolt in down here. So it is essentially just a bracket for the headlight. I'm not particularly worried about it right now. Headlight in the front fender. I'm not particularly worried about replacing it right now. But at some point, I will probably have to fix that or come up with something else. Not too worried about it, at least getting through inspections. So yeah. Hey guys, that's it for this episode. We managed to pull off a lot of our damaged parts. So coming up, we'll be doing some loose installations, mostly to make this thing easier to move around and to keep things from being damaged. And then we'll move on to replacing the fender in other places and getting this thing ready for street use. So if you like what we're doing here, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Otherwise, let me know how the lighting and audio is going. I'm really interested. I'm doing a separate audio setup. I want to know how that's coming through for you guys. So until next time, I really need a catchphrase. And then we'll... Intro, take 5.
Take 6.
Take 6. I can't do math.
You're an engineer.